Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm, continuing our derivation all from first principle. So, you can see we're back in the park, eating up as much sun as we can, looking for our definition of sensorality. Why do we censor things? And what connecting verb or connecting theorem, sentence, can we produce that establishes what sensorality is definitively? If I said you're special, that is a form of speciality. Speciality is why we differentiate. So we're looking for that operative word for sensorality is censorship, sentience, sexuality, sensuality, some form of one of those words that will establish, will be undeniable, and will axiomatize our proof. So that is what we're doing, pointing out empirical evidence, physics, mathematics, linguistics, providing analysis, generating proofs, and progressing our logic forward. So last episode we talked about sentimentality, which is again just the general form of sentiment. But are you sentimental? What does that word mean? If you sitting there is nostalgia, sentimental. But if you're sitting there and you're thinking about a time in the past, or if you're thinking about something that was, you have a little token or a little souvenir from a vacation and it's sentimental to you, what are you saying? Right? You had an experience that was meaningful to you. This object maybe doesn't have any monetary value, but it means something to me. It's sentimental. It has sentimental value. And so, where does that come from? And where, specifically nostalgia, just, I guess, reminiscing on things of the past. I don't really know. I don't get nostalgic. I am not a sentimental person. Nothing means that much to me. Nothing means that little to me. None of my work is all that important to me, believe it or not. We're just like organisms living. So it's like nothing is that serious to me, I guess. Nothing matters that much, but you might as well do something useful. Don't be nihilistic, go be productive with your day. I would say overall, from my perspective, the tone of my life and the tone of anyone's life should be like the way I process myself without my parents or anybody else's bullshit insecurities just being poured onto me is like the tone of a Sunday morning documentary on CBS. So you have this old white chick there, she's got a little bob haircut going on, and she's kind of talking about nature or some historical documentary, but no one really gives a shit, just kind of on in the background, and you're just kind of chilling. That's kind of the tone my life is to me. So I don't get nostalgic, I'm not sentimental, I don't have some grandiose hope for the future, I don't have some longing for the past. It's just I'm just kind of here, sitting here with my little microphone and my notebooks, writing shit down, trying to do my day. So I just think it's, again, more of this time. It's as you get older, it's what day is it? It's I know what day it is. Or you have biological function, you have to go to the bathroom, sleep. So you always have this concept of time. But right, time flies when you're having fun. It really isn't fundamental to track everything you do the way that we do, as it's really just a remnant from the Industrial Revolution, truly. And so much more easygoing in times of pace. But it's when people are hustle and bustle and that grind culture, hurrying up to go to their office, you're not really doing anything, or you're objectively not producing anything new. And so it's there's a lot of hustle and bustle for nothing, right? Do less is what I said in speciality. But nostalgia and nostalgia, the reminiscent of the past, I don't want to say it's immaturity, but it's just I don't feel nostalgia at all. And it's just some sort of regret, right? Spring breakers, no regrets. It's if you live in the moment, you never have a regret, because there's never anything you could have done differently if you're doing the right thing. And being the right thing is just not being aggressively doing the wrong thing. And so, regret doesn't exist if you make the most of the time you have when you have it. And so when people have regret or they're nostalgic, not even because nostalgia doesn't necessarily imply regret, but any of those types of feelings is just, I guess, awareness of not making the most of your time, would be my guess. But then deja vu is a more interesting one to me, because I'm not sentimental, I don't feel nostalgic, but deja vu I feel extremely hard, or extremely vividly or vibrantly. And it's really, I think what that is, in the same way your dreams, I guess, sometimes feel more, there's a feeling to your dream that feels almost more real than reality. I don't really know what to say about that, but deja vu is because your process, vicariosity exists. You can feel and truly intuitively process another life experience that you haven't had specifically, but you've watched somebody else have. The example I've used is Kevin Ware. If you don't know what that name is, type in Kevin Ware basketball. Dude from, I think it was, I want to say Kentucky, but basketball tournament, jumps up, shoots a three-pointer, shoots a shot, and comes back down. It doesn't even look like he lands that aggressively, but it's like his tibia and fibia just like explode. It's a very visceral thing, and then it's like everyone cringes because it's like you see a severe injury, and then you're vicariously picturing that feeling yourself. And so that's what deja vu is with logic. If you feel like you've already been here before, it's like, well, your environment doesn't really change that much, and then it takes you like years and years to process some simple bit of logic, right? You'll have something that you'll go, aha, and it'll be like, you've realized something that you were thinking about either consciously or subconsciously for like 10 years. And so deja vu is really just like you reiterate like the exact verbatim experiences that you've had before with new language or with new time. So it's like you felt like you've been there before, but you haven't actually. So deja vu is an interesting one. Literally means already seen, but it's more empirically you've already processed kind of that experience and you're just experiencing it again. And so that's kind of what's going on there. But are you sentimental? Because I sure am not. But I think all of sentimentality is a product of just not being efficient with your time. What is mentality? Right? If you have a mentality, it's your attitude, your approach to something. Have a better attitude. Have a good mentality. Right? We talked about optimism and cynicism, but this time I wrote optimistic and pessimistic. So again, the logic triangle of openness, I'm not sure what's going on there. But mentality, attitude, what is the relationship of mentality, mortality, and morality? Right? How does age affect your priorities? Obviously, there's another differentiation. Affect with an A is a verb, effect is a noun. So that's another, again, evidence of something that we've seen. Because the base is speciality, that EC is speciality in there. And so respect is based on speciality, effect is based on speciality. And you might be saying like, why? That seems like a very differentiation, specifically for sexual antagonism, feels very biological. Well, it is, right? We're working down from all of these higher, more emergent ontologies, biology, chemistry, or sociology, down to physics. And so, but like all scientists, everyone that's articulated in a measurement is a biological being, human or not. And so, like the most operative ontology is biological, the stuff you say naturally without saying, this is science. But mentality and mortality, right? Typically younger people, like the operative word is invincibility. I thought I was invincible. I knew sure as shit I was never invincible. Mortality, as you get older, I mean, you're just more in tune with what I would say objectively is right. And it's not morally right, it's just efficient, things that make sense, going about your day, minding your own business, not getting in other people's way, having courtesy, shit like that. Morality, just age, how does age affect morality? You tend to be more moral as you get older, general trend. Mortality, you definitely become more aware as you get older, but any life experience, you know, if you're a 3-year-old in Ukraine right now and a bomb blows up, I mean, you know what death is right from experience. And so all of these, again, regret, nostalgia, sentimentality are all kind of just like emergent from privilege, truly just privilege. Like an animal in the woods not sitting there thinking about 4 weeks ago when there's a tiger trying to eat it for today. It's like it's just trying to survive. So that's how age affects priorities. Sensuality sanitizes. And this is another kind of slang usage of sensuality. If somebody says, you know, clean, right, sanitization cleans. And so if you say sanitize that file or sanitize something, it's like a slang from using clean to mean to scrub, to mean to wipe away, to erase. And so sanitize is the slang form of sensuality. Sanitizing is the opposite of memorizing, right? If you sanitize, if you wipe a hard drive clean, you sanitize it, the memory, you wipe away the memory. So that's a not obvious opposite. Sensuality is sanitality. Sensuality sanitizes sentiment. Think about what that logically is, just the statement of what Pol Pot did in Cambodia, or Mao Zedong did in China, or Joseph Stalin did in Russia, or I don't know, I can't think of any other good despots right now. But the point being, what was I going to say? Oh, like sensuality sanitizes sentiment, right? Intellectuals, if anyone can think against a group thought, then it's endangering to the progress of that groupthink that's bad. And again, bad, I mean inefficient. I just mean inconsistent, wrong. But it sanitizes sentiment. It makes it uniform, right? If everyone's cheering, go our great leader in North Korea, there's no opposition, right? And then if a bit of opposition pops up, you sanitize that. Neutralizing sanitizes. Sometimes literally with death. Sentiment, fervor. Speciality is fervor. When you walk into the party and you feel that energy, that's fervent fervor. Fervor is intensity. Sanity, sanitize. What is the relationship of sanity and sanitization? Right? Clearly the same word, base pairs are obvious at this point. But your sanity, how stable is really a form of stability, right? If you're sane, you're stable. So sanitizing, right? If you have a bit of information that you can't process or clashes with your worldview, you can either do the normal thing and change and objectively just grow and learn, or you can go into denial and censor it. You can reject that information. You just shut yourself down, you just stop talking. And that literally happens. Like when you see my life in its entirety, I've been enduring this process of ontological shock my entire life. And so people will literally just in person, directly to my face, just stop responding. And it's just like, dude, my rights are violated. Can you give a shit? You're a law enforcement agent. Nope. Like literally the FBI on record, telling me they know exactly who we are, saying verbatim, you can go anywhere you want and publish that. No, I very literally can't go anywhere. I've been offering $500,000 with a direct citation of law, which at this point is fucking insulting because I'm actually a law guy. And the law to you guys is just a joke. Right? You go into a courtroom and it says, "In God we trust," because that is who proved common law. That is the office of God, which again is not some big sky person. It's a president. It's an office. It's a rank of a judge. And so it's just like, you guys are so hypocritical. It's disgusting. But there's no point to try to do anything there. But sanity, right? You have to, if you can't accept a piece of information to keep your sanity, you have to sanitize that. You have to reject information that you can't process. But that's all a part of privilege, right? The 3-year-old in Ukraine that watches his leg get blown off or his little sister's head get torn to shreds, he doesn't get a choice to not look at that. And so all of this is like emergent from privilege. Compatibility is synergetic. Sensorality is compatible. Right? How do we know life is compatible with the environment? Well, it wouldn't fucking exist. And here Brad is, farting, smelling like shit, talking languages to you. What is a measure? Right? If I just said, what's a measure? You might say it's the base of a measurement. But you'd think of a natural context of music, right? A measurement, we'll start with measurement. A measurement is a detection, right? The measurement problem, well, again, we've proven problems don't exist. Logical conundrums aren't actually logical conundrums. They're just misarticulations of whatever you're trying to articulate. And so genuine paradoxes do not exist. But a measurement is a detection. Detection, direction, right? A time signature represents beat per measure. So the natural context of measure is music. So you have a measure, you have a little note, you have your compass, so to speak, your time signature, which represents beat per measure, right? And then we get that new, when I'm talking about life forcing different words together that are related, right? Time signature. I just got a thing in the mail yesterday, right? Is sensorality time dependent? And then I get a thing in the mail yesterday that says time sensitive with a hyphen on it, right? Like, so it's like I see all of these things in the form of sensorality literally everywhere. But so we get this new grouping of words, time, signature, right? A signature representation of your unique existence, right? You sign a piece of paper. What are you doing? It's just validating your identity. So now a time signature, and then you put it into a key and you get some sort of uniqueness. But the point being is that's our natural definition from the ontology of the species, not me saying so, that where measurement is defined, right? Measurement's clearly based on measure. A measure is barred, right? Censoring bars. And so a measure is a bar. And then therefore a bar is a censor with a C, right? Now don't think of that little black bar line, think of an actual physical rod, a cylinder, all right? That is a bar. And so a bar is a sensor. And so now we've connected two direct nouns. And so we have to be like literally, if I turned off this camera and went home, hopefully sensorality is almost done. But I'm done saying that because I never know when these things come. And it's like Halley's Comet. It's like you go around, you get really, really close to solving it, and then you're way back out. And then you get really, really, really close, and it's just like, okay, I'm done saying that. You know, whenever this solution presents itself, it will. But two nouns were clearly in the musical context naturally, right? If I said, what is a measure? You're thinking music, if you have any understanding of where that word comes from. But if you are barred from something, you are censored with a C, meaning barring physically, like jail bars. So, oh, there is some more. But sensorality is savory. What is savory? When somebody says this meal is savory, are they referencing the salt content or the fat content or the lard content or the butter, or like what makes something savory? Savory, sensory. Savory, save. Sensorality, saves. Save, have. Having is possessing, right? Sensorality with an S possesses things. I have my notebook. That leaf right there, it's not going to self-identify and show possession of anything. And right, that's why it's so inherent into language when you have apostrophes that also represent possession, because your physical property is an extension of your efficiency, your work. Does memory save hate? Last time we talked about, does anybody really hate anything, or is it just kind of misunderstandings? It's really just misunderstandings, but does memory save hate? Of course it does, right? When you're thinking about somebody that wronged you 14 years ago, why is that, right? It's because it's inefficient. And so you're trying to, like, all of those little ticky-tacky things that you remember, and everybody does, don't even act like you don't. It's because you're sitting there like, why did that person do that? And it's projection. It's just insecure behavior being put on somebody else. I've been saying the same shit for 25 years, but people actually haven't changed. It's just so weird. And now I've formalized it into the axiomization of physics, which will never go anywhere, which is cool. And again, until the entirety of whoever benefits from this information that I've developed goes away, which who fucking knows? But does it go away? Yes. Like I said, nothing is permanent. That's definitive, but it's the gray area, right? That's why I'm still not nihilistic when I know definitively, effectively everything I do doesn't really amount to that much. But I'm still me. I get to go out here, enjoy the sun, talk to the YouTubers, even though nobody watches my shit, even though everyone watches my shit, and then just like, I don't even know what the fuck's going on anymore. But please, someone give me my fucking money. But does memory save hate? Yes. Why does it save hate? Because it's inefficient. So all of those little ticky-tacky things, it's just axiomatic physics doing its thing. Sensorality is vorality. Voral, soral. Vorality is the general form of vortex, right? A typhoon, a vortex, a tornado is, right? Vortex, vertex. And so now we have a very clear physical image. We can go solve Navier-Stokes, even though I've already solved Navier-Stokes like 5 times. And all of these other million-dollar problems. But that's why I hate that you guys have put these prizes on these questions. I've lost 25 years of my life because I solved problems I didn't even know the formal statements of, because I was just genuinely curious about the world around me. And now there's genuinely not a single person that gives a fuck. Again, all law enforcement, you are an embarrassment. And again, intelligence agencies at the highest level, even to like directly to people at the CIA, you have not seen it. You just, what the general populace calls the deep state is way different than even like structured. Like if you have a badge and you're reporting to somebody, you're not really, right? Your intelligence agency is only as good as your intelligence. And so how about, come on guys, who's helping me so far? You've watched me all day, who's helping me? So have fun with that, but it's just a different ball game and you guys aren't in it. And it's not a game, it's really not, and I really pull my weight. When I turn on OM TV and I get some random guy and he's clearly knows who I am and he's like, yeah dude, and you do this shit like half drunk, half high. Again, I've taken a huge break from drinking like I said, drinking's not like a thing to me where like I thought about it. It was just like, okay, I'm kind of bored, might as well sip some beer. And I hadn't had a doctor checkup. Like if I would have gone into a doctor and they're like, you know, you have elevated liver enzymes, I would have no problem not drinking. It has nothing to do with, synesthesia is so much more vivid and poignant to me than any state of sobriety or inebriation. Like there's just the synesthesia stuff is always just there. I mean, it's just, there's no on or off. If I'm conscious, this shit's on. And so like, there's no, like, I couldn't get addicted to anything. I really couldn't. But at the same time, I can be a grown man that just engages in more risky behavior because I don't give a shit. Like, what is there for me to do personally? Make another math lecture? Sure, I will. Then what? Do another book reading? Sure, I will. Then what? Do another hike? Sure, I will. Then what? So it's like, I'm really maxed out on shit I can do besides just prodigious output that gets stolen, right? That gets stolen. And so the level of boredom that I've experienced personally is truly as big of an anomaly as my analytical capacity. So that is it for today. Vorality, vortexes. Vortex, vertex. That physical typhoon, we have a vortex, that is the image in your brain. I mean, again, there's no end, there will be a finalization to sensorality, but then it will directly give us the next form of our next axiom. So thank you for watching, and I will see you on the next one.